On the Sun Belt Conference football preview, Florida International goes for a second consecutive Sun Belt Conference crowns, armed with one of the best players in the nation. He led the nation in carries last season en route to gaining over 1,600 yards. But what really makes Western Kentucky's Bobby Rainey run? And this will be the final chapter for a Sun Belt Conference coaching legend. It's all up next on the 2011 Sun Belt Conference football preview. Hello, I'm your host, Ro Brown, and welcome to the second decade of Sun Belt Conference football. Last year, the Sun Belt Conference celebrated its 10th anniversary and did so in style. It was an example of how much the conference has grown in stature that 3 conference members went bowling. And since 2005, the Sun Belt Conference has a better winning percentage in bowl games than the Big 10, Big 12, and ACC. 2010 was successful. 2011 promises to be even better. We start our trip around the conference with a look at Louisiana Monroe, a team with lots of returning lettermen and perhaps the biggest surprise in the conference last year. Middle Tennessee went to a bowl game in 2010 but feels they have something to prove in 2011. But first, a look at prospects for the defending co-champions from Florida International. If there was a game that told you how far the Florida International football program has come, go back to November 13, 2010. FIU went to Troy and put up 668 yards in total offense en route to a 52-35 victory over the 4-time defending champs. And with 15 of 22 starters returning, you can expect even greater things from the Panthers.
That we're more athletic, we're longer, we have more big speed. We've traditionally been a very small team. We're starting to look like more and more like a team from the state of Florida, a team that's explosive, a team that's fast, a team that's adding length. We feel that we should be improved up front on both sides of the ball.
The player who perhaps symbolizes the growth of the FIU program is last year's Sun Belt Conference Player of the Year, the versatile T.Y. Hilton, who Cristobal calls a special player because he's a builder.
You're looking at one of the better players in the country deciding to come to a team when it was 1-11. Kind of put his foot in the ground and say, I'm going to be the Pied Piper. I'm going to make sure that I set the tone here at FIU and that others follow.
To Hilton, his 11th catch of the day and his second effort.
The senior from Miami has provided lots of positive examples to follow. Knowing opportunities are at a premium, he wants to do something special every time he touches the ball.
I know once I touch it, I got to make the best out of it because I never know when I'm going to get that chance again. So once I get the ball, it's like I got to score. Whoever comes, I got to shake them. I got to break off this tackle. I got to find this block, set the block up, hit it. I got to score. I got to make something happen.
If your best player is your hardest worker, that sets the tone for a program. It sets a very high level, very high standard of performance that others will follow. And I think that's what T.Y. has certainly done going into his senior year.
At Middle Tennessee, Coach Rick Stockstill directed the Blue Raiders to their 3rd bowl game in 5 seasons, with last year's appearance in the GoDaddy.com Bowl. But 2010 was not a success.
Underachieved. We felt like we had, from a player standpoint, the best talent that had ever been around here.
So says sophomore quarterback Logan Kilgore, forced into action last year when conference preseason Player of the Year Dwight Dasher was suspended. With 3 starts under his belt, his coach says there are reasons why he should assume the role.
And I've played against a Big 10 team. I've played against, an in-state team. I've played in a conference game on the road and won, so I think it's helped his confidence.
At running back, Benjamin Cunningham will lead the way with the departure of Philip Tanner. On defense, 3 all-conference performers must be replaced, and the defensive line will lack size. But Stockstill feels his team makes up for its shortcomings in other ways.
They've got a great attitude of wanting to do good, and that isn't going to translate into 1 win or 12 wins, but if you don't have it, you really don't have a chance. And but I like their attitude, and got a tremendous, a tremendous excitement right now.
At Louisiana Monroe, second-year coach Todd Berry saw the Warhawk victory total go downward, but feels rebuilding the foundation of the program is on schedule. Last season, ULM surrendered 22 points a game. However, they finished first in the conference in rushing defense. The wide variety of offensive schemes in the Sun Belt means coaches had better be ready to transition on the run.
Last year, we were pretty much an up-and-down team, as you would expect from a young team. And a lot of that had to do with that fact that one week we'd see something and we'd recognized it. It was something similar that we'd seen before, and we played pretty well. And there was other ones where it's the first time we'd ever seen it. And while you can try to duplicate it in practice, that's a misnomer.
They were a mere 1-point loss away from a 6-6 record. They played a number of young players as 17 freshmen and sophomores started games. One of those freshmen, quarterback Colton Browning, a freshman All-American who netted nearly 3,000 yards in total offense.
You know, every team needs hope. Hope's a really powerful thing. And you need that guy out there that everybody can look to and say, you know, we just got to keep playing hard and he's going to find a way to make a play. And hopefully you have a lot of those guys on the team that are like that. But the reality of it is for last year, for us on offense in particular, but the defense I think fed off that also, was Colton was that guy who would find a way to make a play.
Colton Browning will still have the opportunity to throw to one of the fastest players in all of college football. In preseason, all-conference selection, Luther Ambrose. And Mario Cristobal will be at FIU through the 2016 season. It was announced he has signed a contract extension. When we return, we'll take a look at new coaching faces in the Sun Belt at Arkansas State, Louisiana Lafayette, and North Texas. Welcome back. There are 3 new coaches in the conference this season. At ULL, the new guy brings a special kind of juice to the job. At North Texas, it's an experienced veteran who was drawn to Denton by significant new construction on campus. And in Jonesboro, Arkansas State didn't have to go far to find a new leader. Arkansas State did not leave campus to find a successor to Steve Roberts. Hugh Freeze is the new head man. As offensive coordinator at Arkansas State last season, his offense broke 9 offensive school categories, and he brings boundless enthusiasm to the job.
I'm a realist, though, and understand that with that comes great expectations, and also that the hard part is changing the mindset of our kids so that we win those fourth quarter battles that we did not come through last year.
This year's defense will be led by linebacker Demario Davis. And Freeze is excited about incoming defensive coordinator Dave Womack.
You know, we got a lot of guys that have played a lot of snaps over there, and they feel very disappointed in their output last year. They kind of have a chip on their shoulder, and I think Dave's system has renewed their energy and love for playing defensive football.
And a big hit right there.
ASU can boast of the returning all-Sun Belt Conference quarterback in junior Ryan Appling. Single-season school record holder in total offense, pass completions, and passing touchdowns. But he has only 1 goal this season.
And he's in for the touchdown.
Win. That's it. Whatever means possible, win. At
North Texas, the mood is upbeat with the arrival of Dan McCarney as head man. He was involved with turnarounds as head coach or assistant at Iowa, Wisconsin, Iowa State, and South Florida. The Mean Green has failed to exceed 3 victories in any season since 2004.
I'm sure that was probably one of the reasons I got this opportunity, because I have been part of putting together a plan to win, building a foundation built on rock, doing it the right way, no compliance issues.
New coach, new attitude, new surroundings. This is Applegate Stadium. Cost $80 million. Capacity 30,850. The new home of the Mean Green.
It's a commitment to excellence. It's a commitment to football. It's a commitment to the future. Enough is enough. We've been, we've talked about a commitment, but there really has not been one here at North Texas for a long time. And building a stadium doesn't ensure or guarantee wins, but it sure helps.
Coach McCarney is also happy to inherit running back Lance Dunbar, a two-time All-Sun Belt Conference performer with over 3,000 yards over 2 years, but ready to win.
Like I play this game because I want to be a winner. You know, all my life I've been losing. I've never been a part of a winning team. You know, and it's hard. You know, it's something I've been dealing with all my life. You know, but I know how to fight through it. You know, come back day to day and work hard.
Practices at Louisiana Lafayette are rather noisy these days, and that's the way Coach Mark Hudspeth wants it. He has installed the juice machine. The sounds may not be the Ragin' Cajun fight song, but it gets the job done.
I probably play it for myself as much as I do them. And we all, I think, like good music and sort of get your blood pumping a little bit and gets the juices flowing.
The former passing game coordinator at Mississippi State hopes to create enough flow to erase last year's 3-9 mark. He says he knows 3 ways to do it: hard work, innovation, good recruiting.
We just had what I think is one of the best signing classes I think that hopefully we've ever had here, and I think the best signing class in the Sun Belt. And all of those guys have not disappointed. They are very talented. The foundation has been laid for the future of our program.
The Ragin' Cajuns have one of the nation's top tight ends in Ladarius Green, a preseason All-American. The 6'6" senior from Pensacola, Florida, who led all tight ends in 7 categories nationally, will be a marked man.
I don't really notice people play double coverage or anything, but if they do play double coverage, it's an honor to me because that means leaving somebody open on the other side, and I don't mind it at all.
Now, one of those ULL recruits worth watching is running back Quinn Griffin, a highly recruited player from South Panola High in Batesville, Mississippi. And North Texas will open Applegate Stadium September 10th when the Cougars of Houston come to town. Stick around. A legend steps down at FAU. Can the Troy Trojans make it 6 Sun Belt titles in a row? And what can Bobby Rainey do to top his record-breaking junior season? Thanks for watching the Sun Belt Conference football preview. Our final trio of clubs consists of one team fighting for respectability and stability, another that already has those attributes in quantity, and finally one that must find a new face, a new heart, a new soul. 2011 will be the end of the line for Florida Atlantic's legendary head coach, Howard Schnellenberger. The 77-year-old architect of the FAU program announced 2011 will be his 46th and final season on the sidelines. Howard Schnellenberger has been a part of 4 collegiate national titles and 2 Super Bowl championships.
I can't imagine FAU without another coach. You know, Howard Schnellenberger to me goes with FAU right now. I mean, he built the program, 12 years? It doesn't matter how old he is, he still knows the game and he's still very pinpoint on little details.
It's fitting that the driving force behind the FAU program will get to coach the first 5 home games at the new on-campus facility. The 30,000-seat stadium is something Schnellenberger has pointed toward for over a decade, and his players feel it's a promise kept by their legendary coach.
Every day I ride by, I get more and more excited. It's just, an awesome feeling to actually have a place called home and on campus, I don't know, I just, if I could put it in words, I would, but every time I try, I'm just so speechless.
It is the most consistent program in the Sun Belt Conference. The men of Troy should continue playing at a high level in 2010. Despite losing one of the Sun Belt's most versatile players ever, NFL draftee Jarrell Jernigan, Troy still has an abundance of talent on offense. Led by the 2010 Sun Belt Conference Freshman of the Year, quarterback Corey Robinson.
Last year, I made a bunch of mistakes as a young guy, but the good thing about it was that I wasn't making the same mistakes every week. I strive to get better. My coaches, they're doing a great job helping me out.
With 13.5 sacks in 2010, Jonathan Massaquoi was an all-Sun Belt Conference performer. That's why he is this year's preseason Sun Belt Conference Defensive Player of the Year.
I think Massaquoi is a guy that very bright, astute, well-spoken, wants to do it all. He wants to be a leader and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes he forces that a little bit, but he's gaining on it since he's been here, and he's well respected.
Which is why more is expected of Massaquoi this season.
Last year, I had great players around me that made me great. I've been following here and there my whole life, being a leader, being put in positions, but never ever filled into the leadership role. So hopefully this year I can fill into those shoes and be able to take this role that, so many want me to take.
In Bowling Green, Kentucky, the Hilltopper footballers are working hard to improve on last year's 2-10 season. Both victories came at the expense of conference rivals, Louisiana Lafayette and Arkansas State. And if you're wondering about Coach Willie Taggart's practice attire, no, he's not repairing appliances. He is trying to repair the health of his alma mater's football program.
A lot of people depending on us to do well. A lot of those blue-collar folks that work to get us where we're at right now. And we need to get back to doing that so we can make those folks happy again.
Despite only 2 wins during the last 2 seasons, reportedly Western Kentucky has been at the top of the Sun Belt Conference the last 2 years in recruiting.
I think you'll see this team, our football team, become a lot closer to our Sun Belt's opponents when it comes to size and speed. I can say, last year I used to go out and pregame and see some of these guys from these opposing teams come out. I'm like, geez, why can't we have some guys look like that?
Western Kentucky may be the team to watch this year. They certainly have a player who is being watched. He is on the watch list of the Maxwell Award, the best all-round player in the nation, the Walker Award, the best running back in the nation, and the Horning Award, the most versatile player in the country. He is Western Kentucky running back Bobby Rainey. The senior from Griffin, Georgia, led the nation in carries in 2010. 340 rushing attempts for the 5'8", 205-pounder. As one of those blue-collar guys, he welcomed the workload.
Brought me back to high school because I used to average like 30 carries a game in high school. And so when I started getting those carries when Coach Taggart got here, I felt like I was in high school again.
Bobby Rainey does not shy away from the fact that he is not the fastest or the biggest running back you'll see. In fact, he embraces his lack of size.
That's what my goal is, to let everyone know that it doesn't matter about the size. Small guys can produce just the same way as the big guys can produce. And I don't know, there's something that carries with me, because I'm so short, I got to work double time than the other people. So I want to make sure that they understand that short guys can get it done too.
Now, Western Kentucky will open the season September 1st against the Kentucky Wildcats in Nashville. And Troy quarterback Corey Robinson is on the watch list for the Manning and O'Brien Awards, given to the nation's outstanding quarterback in college football. And FAU will open with 5 games on the road before playing in the new stadium. They'll travel to Florida, Michigan State, and Auburn. When we come back, we'll look at who will win the Sun Belt, at least according to a preseason poll of the league's coaches. Welcome back. The coaches know the game better than anyone, so we go to those in the know to find out who is their choice to win the Sun Belt Conference Championship. It'll be the Golden Panthers of Florida International. 5 of 9 head coaches picked FIU to pick up where they left off at the end of last year, that victory over Toledo in the Little Caesars Pizza Bowl. Troy, going for Sun Belt title number 6 in a row, is second with 2 first-place votes. There's a tie for third between Middle Tennessee and Louisiana Monroe. The Red Wolves of Arkansas State got one first-place vote and came in 5th. North Texas 6th, Western Kentucky 7th, followed by Louisiana Lafayette and Florida Atlantic.
And certainly now that we were able to achieve success last year, we really stay along the lines of the same process and the same approach as we put those things away. And we put them away January 10th on our first day back from the bowl game and to start our semester. And that's when the 2011 process started, that very day at 6 a.m. And our coaches do a great job of keeping our guys grounded, because God knows that they know what we're up against.
Mario had a great year last year at FIU, and excited for him. He's worked hard and done a great job down there, and they're a very talented team coming back. Larry's done a wonderful job there at Troy over a number of years, and even though they have a lot of players that they lost off of last year's team, you know, those guys have been in the system for a while, and so they understand the system, and so while they might not have experience on the field, they have experience within the systems themselves.
And you can see Sunbelt Conference action on the Sunbelt Football Network on Comcast Sports Southeast and Cox Sports Television. The 11-game schedule gets underway September 24th when Middle Tennessee visits Troy, followed by Arkansas State at Western Kentucky on October 1st. FAU at North Texas on the 8th, Louisiana Monroe and Troy on the 15th. Middle Tennessee faces Florida Atlantic October 22nd. And we close out the month of October with Louisiana Lafayette against the Blue Raiders. It's the Battle of Louisiana on November 5th when ULM travels to ULL. Then it's 4 wild card games announced 12 days before game dates on November 12th, 19th, 26th, and the 3rd of December. Thanks for joining us on the Sunbelt Football Preview Show. It will be another outstanding season of college football in the Sunbelt Conference. I'm Ro Brown.